I can understand English, but I cannot speak English fluently, confidently, naturally, with clarity and with confidence. If this problem is yours, then this problem is going to be erased. How this problem is going to be erased? Because I have come up with very important video, and the first part of this video is why this problem happens with every English learner. But I say that the second part is even more important, and you can say the juicy part of this video, because in this part you will come to know how to speak English fluently, confidently, because this part, I have divided this part into three main topics. The first, practices to be done before talking to others, before going to engage a conversation. What kind of practices you are supposed to do? Most important thing is when you are in a conversation, the critical point when you are going to be a victorious person, or you are going to lose the conversation. Now, what is that? Important mindset and things to do during your conversation. Yes, in order to get or in order to hold a successful conversation in English. But the most important thing is what to do after having a conversation. What to do, what you are supposed to do after finishing your conversation, because one activity is left with you when you are done with your conversation. And what is this feedback loop? This is very much important to inculcate in your personality the level of confidence. And what is this coordination bond? This video is so important. Now we are going to discuss first why this problem happens with every English learner. The first reason is the difference between active and passive skill sets. Yes, because in contrast to passive skill sets, active skill sets requires your mental and your physical activity. Because from here, thoughts are supposed to travel to your mouth, and through your mouth, these thoughts are transformed into the words. Now, this coordination is very much important to become a fluent, successful debater, speaker, fluent speaker. Why? If this part, the brain is generating your thoughts. This part which you are saying, a mouth, the tongue, the articulatory objects, the articulatory parts of your body, these are supposed to articulate, to transform the thoughts into the words. Sometimes it happens that thoughts are there on the tip of your tongue, but you don't have the words to transform them into a practical idea. Now this coordination is very much important, and how you can develop this coordination between your mind and your mouth. If this coordination is strong, you can speak, you can articulate whatever thoughts you want to speak, even in the most lucid manner, in the most convincing manner. So, have you got this point? The coordination is important, and active skills are even more important. Now, what are the active skills? Active skills means you're speaking, you're writing. Passive skills means you're reading all the inputs in the form of listening. Because in that you don't have to actively participate in anything. This is the main reason. You don't have developed in your academic qualification, in your online and offline English courses and classes. You didn't have built this coordination. This coordination was not built in any institute. This skill set was not developed in your institutes. Rather, active skill set was extremely ignored in all the institutions. And all focus, number 2 point is, all our educational system tends to be more logical. in itself. This is the most challenging part of our spoken English. Now, how it tends to be more logical. How? Because it focuses its whole attention on correction system. For example, my sentences should be correct. What kind of phrases I am using should be correct. What kind of grades I am getting should be up to date. Our education system has made our mentality that getting the bad score is just like a humiliating mark on your face, on your forehead, and it would label you as a good student or as a bad student. Now, what is the disadvantage of this? Now, this education system, if you can understand, in all non-native English countries, everywhere where English is not a mother tongue, you can evaluate the system and you will come to know that its whole attention is on correction, grammatical rules, vocabulary, good scores, and on cramming system. The result is disastrous. We become afraid to make mistakes because making mistakes means low score. Making mistakes means not having high grade. Making mistakes means you are not a good student. Now, this kind of mentality you have developed during your all educational institutions. Now, if you enter, and when you enter in your journey or on the way of your journey towards your spoken English, what happens that you become afraid of making mistakes. And now this point tends us to lead towards the third point, that is societal pressure. Societal pressure. Now, what is this societal pressure? I am correlating all the points. All these points are just like the chains. We have to break this chain in order to get advancement towards our journey towards fluency. Now, what is this societal pressure? Societal pressure just means that what others would think of us. What others would think of us. We are highly conscious of our status. Our status, our position in the society. Oh my God, if I have uttered a wrong word through my mouth, I would be stigmatized. I would be branded as a good person or as a bad person. Now, this societal pressure makes us overthinker. And you know that during the conversation there is no time, but all these factors which I have discussed earlier, these all combine together to make the process a longer one, and you have to wait for the longer time to have the suitable words in your mouth to convey to the other person. In that case, the other person will be losing his interest in the conversation and all that conversation ends. But stop. The next point is lack of confidence in our pronunciation. Oh my God, we are not pronouncing like the native speakers. This is the biggest hindrance. We tend to shut our mouth. We just resort to silence than to speak through our mouth. Lack of confidence because of our poor pronunciation, and this can be overcome by feedback loop. Now, what is this feedback loop? First of all, this feedback loop says that you have to develop willingness that I want to improve. I want to speak. No matter what society thinks of me, no matter my educational system says that learn logical, learn grammar, learn correct. No, I will make mistakes. Mistakes are my friends. You have to adopt. You have to show your willingness. Number 1 point. This willingness will lead towards your more practice. Now you have a approach to your willingness. This willingness will lead towards more practice. Now you are doing your practice, you are making mistakes, but you are not afraid of making mistakes. You are engaging yourself in the conversation. Continuous willingness, continuous practices leads towards the third point, more comfortable with your voice. More comfortable with your voice. And this finally leads to more confident personality. Now, 4 factors combined together: willingness, more practice, and more comfortable with your voice, with your intonation, with your pronunciation, and the most important point is more comfortable with your mistakes. Leads towards you a more confident person, and this confidence person ultimately directs you, molds you into a confident English speaker. Now these are some of the factors I have discussed. Now we are leading towards how to improve our speaking skills. More important practices you are supposed to do before talking, and important mindset, because when you are in the conversation you should have some important mindset and some things to keep in your mind. And the last thing is what you are supposed to do after your conversation is finished. Now let's begin this first part, practices before talking to others. And now number 1 step, number 1 practice you are supposed to do is shadowing, the most favorite of mine. It will give you the chance to get comfortable to your own voice, because you are repeating, you are mimicking the voice of the native speaker. Your mouth, you are training your tongue, you are training your mouth, you are building the coordination between your mind and your mouth. You are in fact adapting yourself to the pronunciation. In fact, you are raising the confidence level of yours. This is the important R of the need of the R. Number 2 step, read your favorite book, magazine out loud. Now this is a bit challenging, a bit difficult task than number 1 task which I have discussed, the shadowing. Now how it is. In reading the book, reading the novel, you are not having a luxury of having pronunciation. Pronunciation is not in front of you. If you find any word difficult, there is no opportunity of having rhythm, tone, pronunciation, silent letters, unstressed letter and stressed letter. But this is also important. How it is important? You have practiced a lot through your shadowing technique, through your shadowing practice. Now your ears are familiarized with the kind of stress, intonation, rhythm, patterns. You are familiarized. Your brain has picked up some of the patterns. Your mouth muscles have trained themselves. Now you have to test yourself. And testing yourself is the measuring rod by reading your favorite novel. Whatever pronunciation you seem to be difficult, you should find it in Google Translator. It's a bit challenging task, but you have to perform it. Number 3 task is very important task. Now you have to label the items around you. Not in written form, but through your mouth out loud. For example, I have this marker, whiteboard marker. Its lid is green, its tip is also green, but its whole body is white. I use it for writing my thoughts, I am using it for translating my thoughts on the whiteboard. I love this because I know the power of whiteboard marker. I know the power of marker or any pencil to approach millions of people. And if some of the people or if some of the persons are respecting me, honoring me through this pen, because I have approached, I have gained the status of a teacher, an honorable teacher, by many of students of mine, many of viewers of mine through this pen. So I highly regard this pen. So what I am doing, I am just labeling, I am narrating my own thoughts. Narration is important. Pick any object of yours, just label it out loud, then narrate your own thoughts. What you feel, because structure is not important. Structure is, its lid is green, its tip is green, its rest of the part is white. This is all structure. But structure is not important. What you feel, what is your emotional attachment with this pen, with this object? What do you feel? You have to feel, and then you have to narrate your feelings. If you can build this connection, you will come to know that this is the strong connection. You would feel comfortable. You will feel enjoyment, enjoying your process. So this is all the practices you are supposed to do. Now coming towards the most important part, congratulations, you have entered the area of conversation. Area of conversation. You are finally speaking. You are finally in the conversation with someone. But stop. Why? Because I am going to give you some important mindsets and some important things which you have to keep in your mind during your conversation, so that the flow, the rhythm of conversation should not be broken, so that the other person should not lose his interest. How is it possible? You are not habitual to speak. The first thing you have to wire your brain with a mental task. You have to wire your brain with a mental task, and you have to utter this task 3 times. What is that task? What is that mantra? That task, that mantra is that I am here to make mistakes. I am here to make mistakes. I am here to make mistakes. When you would say it aloud, or when you would say it in your head, I am here to make mistakes, then you would see that you have grown your wings. And what is the function of wings? It gives you the freedom to fly in the air like the free bird. You are freeing yourself. You are giving freedom to yourself by just uttering these 3 words. Three times. I am here to make mistakes. Next thing is that you have tried to make a smile on your face during the whole conversation, despite the mistakes, too many mistakes you are making, despite blankness of your mind, maintain a smile on your face. Number 2 thing you have to do, is try to engage yourself. Engage yourself in the conversation. Be very curious. When you are curious, when you are making your smile, and when you are engaging yourself, the chances of making mistakes and chances of getting hesitated, feeling embarrassment are getting lost. Now the graph of mistakes, the graph of your hesitation, the graph of your embarrassment is getting down. Like this. It is getting down, and the level of your confidence is higher. When your level of confidence is higher, and the next thing, very important concept is fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. Now what is this? The most beautiful quote of some author: fake it till you make it. You have to pretend the smile. You have to pretend that I am curious. I am curious in your talk. When you show curiousness, when you show your engagement, curiosity, what you are doing? You are stimulating the other person to feel that kind of engagement in the conversation. These kind of things and mindsets, if you can develop, then you can see that your graph of English level would rise and rise and rise, and you will grow on the wings. You are grown the wings of butterfly, and then you will be free to fly with your wings, with the help of your wings. But stop, the last point is here. The last point is what to do after our conversation is done. Now conversation is over. Now your task is left. What is that task? That task is just remind yourself the phrases, words which seem difficult to you, which were incomprehensible to you. Just look them up in the dictionary, and believe me, and which push you towards your frustration point. And those phrases, those words, those sentence structures, even those sentences would be ingrained in your brain for a longer period of time, because those are the result of your frustration. You have attached an experience with those words and phrases and sentences. Now you will put them in your active vocabulary. So in this way you can speak English well without any hesitation, without any frustration, and with confidence, with clarity, with freedom. So this is the message of today. If you highly like this video, then share it with at least 10 friends of yours so that they can get benefit. And this message shouldn't be stopped here. This is the message of a teacher to the viewer. So I am highly thankful for all the subscribers who are giving me so positive feedback from Indian society, from Bangladeshi society, from United States, from Nepalians, and from Philippines, many of others. I am highly respectful, and I say a positive, thankful note to all of them, because even if I am Pakistani, I am not receiving that kind of feedback from my society which I am gaining from other societies. So this is an indication that teachers are still respected, and if teachers are still respected, there would be a success. Civilization would thrive. So with this positive note, I end this video. Till the next video, stay happy, stay blessed. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.